What's up, Dolphins fans? Welcome into Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Nick Roloff, where we are live here on Monday following NFL Week 1, where it was an absolute disaster for the Miami Dolphins, losing 33-8 on the road to the Daniel Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. We will have a lot to talk about on today's show. We're going to look at the latest injury news coming out of this game, and boy, is there a lot of news we have to talk about. We'll also go back and look at some overreactions that I had from the first game of the season, as well as why I believe this loss to the Colts is 100 times worse than you originally thought. I rewatched the entire game. I looked at almost every single play on the offensive side of the field that Tua Tagovailoa played in. I have a lot of thoughts on him and how the O-line played. There's a lot that we have to discuss on this edition of Dolphins Today, so appreciate everybody coming in and hanging out with us. We got producer Coop in the building, and as we welcome in Coop and everybody, shout out your city for me down in the comments section. Where are the people watching from?
The theme of today's show, incompetence.
Incompetence is the word of the day. We talk about it all the time. But we got Michael from Port St. Lucie. Mario says, I'm ready for the next game. I see some people says, hey, we have to put it behind us and move on to week 2. Me and Cooper are actually talking about this today. And we're talking about the cycle of the NFL season. And to me, let's say you have a game on Sunday like we had. You have Sunday, you have Monday, and I give you most of Tuesday to reflect on the game from the prior week. So I give you about, let's say, 55 hours after the game to reflect on the game. And then, once you get past that 55-hour mark, it's on the next week. So, to me, games at noon on Sunday, Wednesday morning, we're focused on the next week. Game is on Thursday, well, Sunday, focused on the next week. I give you 48 hours plus to rehash the game because you just can't act like it didn't happen.
Right.
Like, full transparency, you want to wipe it from your memory and move on and just keep things rolling.
But you have to learn from it.
You have to learn from it. You have to analyze it because there's no way that you can improve if you do not know what went wrong. So you have to reflect on it for 48 hours and then move forward. That's how I feel about it. John is in Corpus Christi. What's up? What's up? North Carolina from Calvin. King is in Indy. Oh, boy. Can't walk around enemy territory. ED's in Old Town Alexandria. XI in Northern New York. Mexico City for Eric. Miami for Michael. Columbia, South Carolina for Leo. Ruski's in Fresno County. T-Matt is in North Carolina. Fat Boy is in Batavia, New York. Glenn is in Schertz, Texas. Appreciate everybody hanging in with us. The question of the day. It's our pinned comment. It's also the one I want to hear you guys answer right now. Do you want to fire Mike McDaniel right now? That's a tough question, man. The past couple of videos, I have abundantly said that you need to fire Mike McDaniel. Now, I will make it very clear it would probably not be smart to do it exactly right now, which is why I'm saying right now. When I'm making the videos of Fire Mike McDaniel, it's more of an overarching, it needs to happen eventually because he's just not the right man for the job. But if I'm talking about exactly right now on Monday afternoon of week 1, no, you probably shouldn't do it. I told Coop this. If the Dolphins lose this week to the Patriots, start 0-2, and then they're going to lose week 3 against the Bills on Thursday Night Football, quick turnaround on the road, I think you have to fire them after the first 3 weeks of the year when you have a week and a half between week 3 and week 4 because you play the Jets in week 4 on Monday Night Football. So to me, I think that's what would happen. If you're going to fire Mike McDaniel early in the year, it's got to be after week 3 if you lose the next 2 games. You lose on Sunday at home against the Patriots. You lose on the road against the Bills. 0-3, you're gone.
What did Ari Gold say?
Get the F out.
I'm done.
Entourage, all-time show.
As a lifelong Dolphin fan since July of 2025, he has to go.
Well, you watched a couple games at the end of last season.
Yeah, true. Very true.
They went 2-1 in those games, though.
They did. Meaningless, but
Oh, man. Roxanne, when are they going to get the right man for the job? Hopefully the next time. Listen.
But the problem is, if Chris Grier is your general manager, you won't.
Nah, he's gone. He's gone. Listen, call me naive. I have an optimistic feeling that is when Mike McDaniel gets fired.
Not if.
Yeah, when he gets fired. Good point, Coop. Chris Grier will be alongside him. And if we're in, and I just don't, and I hope the people who are watching know this. I am not just saying it's Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier. I'm saying it's clean house, baby. I'm talking GM, head coach, QB1. It's over. It's done. All of them got to go. Because the Dolphins are not going to win a Super Bowl with those three leading the franchise. And if you're not going to be able to win a Super Bowl, why are you playing the game?
Now, if you had to keep one of them, who would you keep?
Oh, God. That might be the greatest question of all time.
I think the answer is pretty obvious.
Do you?
I do.
It's not obvious whatsoever.
I think it is.
You think it is?
Yeah.
I think we're on the same page, but it's not obvious.
Are we on the same page?
I think we are. If you had to pick one, who would it be?
I would keep Mike McDaniel.
Oh, my God.
Over Chris Grier. I think Chris Grier is the most incompetent GM maybe in the NFL.
Chris Grier's pretty bad, but Mike McDaniel's awful, and I'm pretty much out. I'm done with Tua. I've done it full. I'm done.
You know what? That's a fair point, but I think that falls on the GM as well.
That's
Give him
a good point.
5-year, $250 million contract.
Oh, 4 for 213. Take it easy. Everett says, what's up? Please stop spamming hi. We do not want to put you in time out. But let's move on to the next topic in conversation. What is your one word on the Dolphins
We already gave ours.
Incompetence.
Incompetent.
That's incompetent. That is our words. That is our words. Building fins up so I could tell you that cleaning house will mean multiple seasons of playing for nothing.
Well,
that's actually not entirely true. Like, I don't want to act like this is something that can happen for every team because it's kind of like let's say one every 10 times.
Right.
But let's just look at the Commanders 2 years ago. What happened?
Good right away.
Commanders hired a new GM, Adam Peters, head coach, Dan Quinn, and drafted a rookie quarterback, Jaden Daniels. Now they had the number 2 overall pick, but the point is they drafted a new quarterback, hired a new head coach, and hired a new GM, all in the same offseason, and then made the NFC Championship game. What does that tell you?
That it can be done.
It can be done. Incompetence is important.
Correct.
Because listen, if the Commanders didn't even make the playoffs last year, but went 7-10, 8-9, oh, it would be a great year for a new regime of head coach, GM, QB1 combo.
The problem also is the Dolphins haven't won a playoff game since 2000, 2001.
Yep,
so what do you have to lose?
Exactly. I mean, we've basically been playing for nothing anyway.
It's a GM, quarterback.
It's not a GM. League. It's not a GM league. I mean, GM's help. It's a head coach quarterback.
It's a head coach quarterback league.
Oh, an elite coach in QB can overcome a bad GM.
In theory, Mike McDaniel should be an elite offensive mind. In theory.
In theory. I don't think he is. I see horrific. I see awful. I see heartbreaking. I see no discipline. I see disgusting, disappointing, sad, trash, teetering. Those are all.
I like teetering.
Teetering is not bad. I will say, if you're talking about teetering, this team is teetering on the edge of disaster. It could already be disaster. It's a good word, building fins up. Why do I say it's a good word? If the Dolphins lose this Sunday, listen, this is why I think teetering is fine. This Sunday's game is an inflection point for the season. If you lose at home to the Patriots to start the year 0-2, your scale is now, oh my God, season's already done. We fire Mike McDaniel. Let's come back now to where we are at right now in the teeter meter. We win on Sunday. I wouldn't say it's positive of, okay, we're going to move forward with a good season.
The seesaw's even.
But it is slightly tilted to hope. Because what did I say has to happen, Coop, in the first 8 games of the season?
5-3.
5-3 bare minimum. 6-2 was the goal.
Now, if you're 1-2 after 3, that means you have to go 4-1.
Correct, but you also would have 3 games out of your next 4 against the Jets, Browns, and Panthers.
Look at how the New York Football Jets played this past weekend.
My point is, though, Coop, if you lose this Sunday, you are done. You are going to be at best 4-4 at the trade deadline, which to me, with how hard the schedule is late, wrap up the year. But if you are 2-2 after the first month, there is a chance you can go 3-1 in the games across the Panthers, Browns, Falcons, and Chargers.
This is true. This is very true.
You can go 3 and then be 5-3. If you're 5-3 this season, there's a possible chance at making something happen. You're 4-4 or worse. Wrap it up.
You never want to call Week 2 a must-win.
Oh, it is the biggest must-win of all time.
It is the biggest must-win there has ever been.
Biggest must-win. If they lose on Sunday, season's
over.
I'll tell you right now, there is no sugarcoating it. There is no me trying to hype up and hope the fans to keep interest for the year. We lose on Sunday, it's done.
Done.
I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to tell you how it is. And listen, I was optimistic. I felt positive about some things going into the year. That is already out the window. And a loss on Sunday means I'm over it. I'm over it. All right, we got over 200 people in the building. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us early on this Monday afternoon. I'm used to saying Tuesday live shows. This is our first Monday live show. We'll be live the day after the game that we play every time. So if the Dolphins play on Thursday, we'll be live on Friday. Dolphins play on Sunday, we'll be live on Monday. Play on Monday, we'll be live on Tuesday. We're always going to be live the day after games going forward. So just mark that in your calendars as a potential option of coming out with us. But with over 200 people watching, we got to get triple-digit likes. We got a super chat that will show on screen here in a second. But before we get into the show and with the injury news and more thoughts on Week 1, we got to get to 100 likes. I think it's very possible. It's very possible. Let's get there. We got 43 likes. We need 57. We'll show now 52. Hit that thumbs up icon. Takes 1 second, completely free. Lizard says, I honestly hope we lose next Sunday so he leaves.
I can't root for a loss.
I would never root for a loss.
I can't do that. Unless you're in an active tank situation.
Yeah, exactly.
I just can't root for this team to lose.
I'll say this. If the Dolphins are, let's say, 4-8, Coop, and we're reaching late November, December levels, and they're 4-8, season's done, it's over, clear as day.
That's a different story.
For the final 5 games of the year, I am absolutely rooting for losses to have a better draft position, as well as just to make it even more evident, if he is not fired already, that Grier and McDaniel have to go.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I think it's crazy that we're talking about a September game as it's the do or die for Mike McDaniel. It's the do or die.
There is no conviction there is nothing I have had more conviction on in terms of a thought around the Miami Dolphins than this game being a must-win. You can argue every game in the NFL is a must-win. You can make that statement because every game does matter to a degree, even for the elite teams in terms of seeding and positioning for the NFL playoffs. But for the Miami Dolphins, there is no coming back from an 0-2 start because an 0-2 start means you're 0-3.
Yep.
I mean, there's just absolutely no world that we live in that the Dolphins would lose to the Colts and Patriots in the first 2 weeks of the year and then turn around and go on the road to beat the Buffalo Bills.
Did you watch the
There's
Bills
no
last
world.
night?
The Josh Allen-led Bills, if we didn't make Daniel Jones punt the ball once, technically. They scored every time they had the ball. What is Josh Allen going to do to us? I'm petrified. But we won't get to Week 3 yet. We have to talk about Week 1 and Week 2 still. But we need to get to 100 likes. We're 19 away. Want the show to get underway. Hit that thumbs up icon, man. Be very much appreciated. Oh, speaking of that super chat, I told you guys yesterday on our live show that a couple things took a little bit long to ship in, and they weren't ready for the Sunday live show. Well, hashtag, of course, they came in Monday morning. So our month-long raffle in September, which is $5 for a ticket, it's in here, baby. You know what that is? Chop Robinson signed mini helmet. The authenticity little QR code is right here, which will come with it. $5 gets you a raffle ticket. Entire month-long raffle. Chop Robinson signed mini helmet. And then here is our Hall of Fame board. Listen, it's a little different. We had a helmet last year. This year we're doing a little board. How about this? We got.
There you go.
It's tough to see, but Dolphins Today right there. Dolphins logo bottom left. And then we're going to put the stickers when they get here with the people on the Aqua Club. It's $100 to get in the Aqua Club. Right now we got Brian Aycock, Magic Dragon Wizard, and David Breecount. Those are the three in the Aqua Club.
The real ones.
And it's $100 on one stream,
correct,
by the way. It can be one super chat. It can be 250s, 520s, 1010s, 25s. I don't care. But $100 to get in the Aqua Club. We got 3 members. See if anyone wants to join on today's stream or get a raffle ticket. But we are 2 likes away from triple digits. So hit that thumbs up icon. Come on. We're coming up live. We got Dolphins news, injury news, a lot of it after week 1. We got Overreaction Monday, as well as why this loss to the Colts is 100 times worse than you think. We'll have that and more when we cross 100 likes. Woo! We got there, 101. Appreciate the 200 plus people still here in the building. With that said, Coop, when you're ready, let's rock this first segment of the live show. Looks like Coop is almost ready here, so a lot of injury news and stuff we got to talk about. So let's get into it, baby. If you thought it could not get worse after the loss to the Colts in NFL Week 1, well, you must not be new here to the Dolphins organization because the hits keep on coming, especially on the injury front. We have 5 players that we got to talk about in terms of their injury status going forward, and I really do not believe any of these players received a positive update. The 5 players we were referring to are 2 on the offensive line. You're starting right guard and right tackle, James Daniels and Austin Jackson, and then defensive back Storm Duck, as well as Benito Jones and Darren Waller. These are the 5 players that we have injury updates on. We'll get into each one specifically here in a second. But make sure you are subscribed. We aren't going anywhere even after a tough week 1. And if you want daily coverage of the Dolphins, this is the place for you. Let's get to 74K before week 2 against the Patriots. Join the channel, 500 subs away. All right, the James Daniels injury is not great, but it's not season ending. Mike McDaniel already ruled him out this week against the Patriots in week 2. And if we're going to be honest, it's a week-to-week injury, short week the following week on Thursday Night Football against the Bills. It's very likely that James Daniels is not going to be here for week 2 and week 3, but maybe there's a chance he returns at home in week 4 against the Jets. He left the game in the first quarter with a pec injury, which is interesting because he was questionable coming into this game with an ankle injury. So he suffers an injury not even closely related to the one he was already dealing with. And it's obviously not great for Miami. Now, it is certainly not the worst. Like, I'm not going to say if you scale from bad news to worst news ever, 1 to 10, it's probably at a 5 because he's still out multiple weeks. But this could have been a season ending. Like a torn pec, which who knows could come in later with a torn pec, that would be out for the year. But your replacement will be Keon Smith, who actually stepped in and played for James Daniels at right guard after he was hurt. And, well, James Daniels only played about 3 snaps, folks, because Keon Smith played 44 snaps, which was the second most, or I guess tied for 4th, technically, most snaps from an offensive lineman for the Dolphins. And even though the PFF grades aren't great, 52 overall, 59.6 pass block, in the 40s of run blocking. He wasn't penalized once, and in the pass protection area, he only allowed 1 pressure. Like, if I'll be honest, I think PFF was a little bit more harsh on Keon Smith than they needed to be. Mike McDaniel even talked about it in the press conference in terms of how he thought Keon Smith relieved James Daniels. He said there was a lot of positives, but definitely a lot of area for improvement. I'm not going to sit up here and act like Keon Smith was perfect. He certainly was not, but he's low on the list of current issues with the Miami Dolphins. And there are a long list of issues that we got to talk about. But if I'm looking at the list and I'm thinking Keon Smith's play at right guard replacing James Daniels, it's just very low. Like, I don't think he was the reason why Miami's offense struggled whatsoever. It's more or less the QB play and play calling as a whole, which we'll certainly get to throughout today's video and tomorrow's video as well. Another issue on the O-line, though. Right tackle Austin Jackson left this game late in the second half, and he is still under evaluation. Mike McDaniel provided no update on his timeline and is currently undergoing more tests. They're bringing in more people for opinions. What is the injury, you ask? Well, the Dolphins' social media account said that he left with a toe injury and was questionable to return. Now, if you remember, Austin Jackson missed the entire preseason and about 3.5 weeks of training camp and joint practices with that same toe injury. So I am assuming, until I am told otherwise, it is the same exact toe injury for Austin Jackson. That is not good if it plagued him to be out 3 weeks already. He comes back and he gets hurt once again in week 1. That tells me this is going to either be a reoccurring issue or he is going to have to be shut down to let it fully heal. That is not good at all. More on the O-line coming up in a second. But with your starting right guard and right tackle already being hurt and missing probably multiple weeks, let me know your concern level on the Dolphins O-line. Pin comment, scale of 1 to 10. Well, I'm already at a 9.3. I mean, I'm not at a full tilt, like max concern level, but I'm pretty much right there, man. Because what was the biggest issue for the Dolphins this entire preseason and training camp? It was either the lackluster cornerback play or the terrible O-line play on the second and third units. And we already have to see some of these players on the football field right away. Like James Daniels and Austin Jackson, the two veterans protecting Tua's blind side that you were going to rely on a ton this year, already out. And your 4 depth pieces of Larry Borum, Brunskill, Kendall Lamb, and Keon Smith are being tested right away because Andrew Meyer is on IR, not eligible to return until week 5, and Liam Eichenberg is still on the PUP, not eligible to return until week 5. Like, it really is hard to fathom. And I don't know if it is just terrible injury luck, the strength and conditioning coaches, or the Dolphins investing into injury-prone players. But I really can't believe that we are in week 2 of the NFL season and we are already onto our backup right guard and likely backup right tackle. Like Larry Borum and Keon Smith are the 2 people protecting the Dolphins QB1 Tua Tagovailoa's blind side. We are not in a good spot, and my goodness, we're not even halfway through the first month of the season. It's really hard to comprehend. Who's got it worse than us? No one. Moving over to the defense, Storm Duck, the CB1 coming into the year, which is even crazy to say that was the real thing. He is out multiple weeks with an ankle injury. Not ideal. And it's never great to see your CB1 hurt, but this also does allow me to spin this conversation into how bad he played. He was absolutely abysmal against the Colts in week 1, and he looked like a player that was a second-year UDFA. There's a reason why he didn't get drafted. And although he's had an okay training camp and he was okay in the final month of the year last season, granted, playing against really bad teams, a bad Niner team, the Cleveland Browns who didn't know how to throw the football, the Jets at the end of the year. Like, they played bad teams at the end of the year. So I think Storm Duck's numbers being a little bit good maybe was misleading in the final month of the year because he was getting the business by the Colts. When defending Tyler Warren, the rookie tight end, 2 for 2 for 27 yards. Adonai Mitchell, 1 for 118 yards. Michael Pittman Jr., blown coverage. He thought he had safety help. Safety took the in route, like the vertical route over the middle of the field. Michael Pittman just beat Storm Duck. Duck didn't get deep enough on his own 27-yard touchdown. did have an incomplete pass when Alec Pierce was Alec Pierce when he was targeted, but just absolutely abysmal. 4 for 5, about 80 yards, and a touchdown given up. When he was targeted by Daniel Jones yesterday, he had a QB rating of 158.3. If you were not aware, that is the highest QB rating you could possibly have. So when Daniel Jones targeted Storm Duck, he was perfect as a QB passer. I don't think there's much else to say about that, guys. Like, he's hurt. It's a bummer because the depth is getting tested early in the season, but it's not like I would have been thrilled about him trotting out there next week as the starter. Not saying it's a good thing he got hurt. Just saying how bad he was. Because it was bad. More coming up here in a second, but get started with Prize Picks today, the daily fantasy sports app and platform I'm on every day. And I make decisions every day. You do too. And with the right decisions, you can get paid on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. It's so simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. You get your picks right, you could still cash in. Prize Picks actually offers injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Speaking of losses, I had one in Sunday's Dolphins Colts Prize Picks entry. So I'm already moving to the next week, turning the page, and looking on to week 2. More than Terry McLaurin touchdowns. I think he reaches pay dirt against the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football, and take advantage of the discounted stat total on this upcoming Week 2 game between the Eagles-Chiefs. More than half a yard, Travis Kelce. 2-player entry right there. Join me and the millions of others on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. As we go back to the cornerback room, here is where we stand right now. Ethan Bonner is still banged up with that hamstring injury. He was inactive on Sunday. So your only active corners were Duck, Rasul Douglas, Juju Brents, Jack Jones, and Jason Marshall Jr. But now you take Storm Duck off of that list. Are you going to now have Douglas, Brents, Jones, and Marshall Jr. active and only stay 4? Because I doubt Ethan Bonner will be ready this Sunday. Maybe he ramps up and is ready to go, but I don't feel as if he will be. So who replaces Storm Duck as the starting boundary corner that he's out multiple weeks? At least we'll have to play against the Patriots and Bills. Well, you'd have to imagine Rasul Douglas, the veteran, is going to be the first one called, considering that when Duck got hurt in the first half on Sunday, Rasul Douglas was the player that filled his shoes. But I'll mention it right now. I would not see or hate seeing what the third-year corner out of Kansas State, Juju Brents, has to offer. The player that the Dolphins claimed following roster cutdown day after the Colts moved on from him. This is a 6'3", 205-pound corner that has great physicality, great length, very agile, good explosiveness. Like, is it a bad thing to want to see what he can bring to the table? I don't think so. There's a world where we could see Douglas, Brents, and Jack Jones in the nickel, maybe? Like, I don't know. Jason Marshall Jr. wasn't very good on Sunday. Listen, nobody on the defense was good Sunday. There's no sugarcoating that. The point is, I think Douglas probably gets the call this Sunday because he's the veteran. But if it goes poorly again for the Dolphins secondary, Juju Brents needs to get some playing time ASAP. Moving to the defensive line, Benito Jones left the game in the second half, or maybe late first half, I forget exactly. He is week to week with an oblique injury. Now, Mike McDaniel said that he is not going to rule out Benito Jones for this Sunday against New England, but it is more likely than not he is inactive if you are asking me, which means we are going to likely see a lot of Kenneth Grant, and we did see a lot of Kenneth Grant on Sunday. The rookie, who Miami took in the first round, 13th overall out of Michigan. He played a ton for Miami. Actually got the second most defensive line snaps on this defense. When you look at who got what amount of snaps in this week 1 game. Zach Sealer obviously led the way with 54 snaps, but then you had 2 rookies in Grant and Phillips, the first and fifth rounders, get 44 and 33 snaps respectively. Zeke Biggers, the 7th rounder out of Georgia Tech, was inactive in this game, will likely be active if Benito Jones is unable to go. You saw Matthew Butler get a lot of snaps as well. And Butler's alignment was weird. You saw him actually play D-end at times, which we never really saw that much of in the preseason. Just very curious about the alignment and honestly roles on this Dolphins defense in week 1. I feel as if Anthony Weaver tried to get maybe too cute at times with dialing up exotic blitzes, dropping some players in coverage like Jaelan Phillips, like Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb. It's like, dude, let the big dogs eat. You could do it once in a while, but this pass rush was struggling. Let these guys pin their ears back and get after Daniel Jones a little bit. But the point is, actually, it wasn't really that good of a debut for the Rooks. I mean, I mentioned a second ago, not one player, in my opinion, played well defensively for the Miami Dolphins. I think that's fair to say when the Colts scored on all 7 possessions they had. Now, the Dolphins defense did get 1 stop, but then Matthew Judon ran into the punter, giving the Colts a first down. I mean, the punter never had a real, noted punt, technically. Like, that, if you don't force a legit punt, your team did not play well defensively. Moving on to the final injury update. This one's on the tight end, Darren Waller. Mike McDaniel asked about if he's going to be ready to go for week 2. He did not guarantee he is going to be active for this Sunday's game against the New England Patriots. This is exactly what Mike McDaniel said when he was asked. He said, Waller's trying to play as best as he can this upcoming Sunday, and if he can't, we'll try to play him week 3, Thursday Night Football at Buffalo. I just can't, man. I mean, hey, listen, Darren Waller's not going to change anything for Miami, if we're going to be honest. But the point is, this guy is just probably... If I had to bet if he plays football for the Dolphins at any point this year or not, I would lean that he probably retires again before he plays for Miami. And I'm being serious. I don't have sources. I don't project that. But it's just me being a pessimistic Dolphins guy right now. That is really it. All right, we'll close out the show with this. No other injuries as of now, which is a good thing. Hopefully no other injuries pop up during practice this week, getting ready for week 2. I know some people were concerned on social media that Tua might have gotten concussed in this game, but it wouldn't show up in his body until the next day, which can happen. Charvarius Ward, the corner for Indianapolis, was in concussion protocol yesterday after the game. They placed him in concussion protocol this morning because he woke up feeling sick. So that's possible. That didn't happen with Tua. Everybody else, other than the 5 players we just mentioned or players that have already had an injury, are good to go. So no major injury for Jalen Waddle, who left the game for a little bit and then returned. If you want more Dolphins updates every day, it's a channel for you. We'll be here all week long getting you ready for week 2 against New England and be live on Sunday. So subscribe and join us this week.
It's a doom.
Which part's a doom?
The entire team, to be honest. Look, we were so optimistic heading into yesterday that they were going to smoke the Indianapolis Colts.
Put a ridiculous amount of money on it.
And to do what they did, to come out there and look completely lost on the football field for 60 minutes, I think it ruined all of the optimism I had for this season. I won't lie.
Now, so I will not say that I will be back on the Dolphins if they win on Sunday. I got to be honest, the only way I'm truly back on the Dolphins in the month of September is if they rattle off 3 straight.
Yeah, if they beat the Buffalo Bills, yes.
If they win this Sunday and then somehow beat the Bills in Buffalo on Thursday Night Football, okay, I'll admit all of the pessimistic viewpoints that I've had over the last 24 hours will be wiped away, and I will gladly eat crow if they can rattle off 2 in a row against the Patriots and Bills. But I don't forecast that happening. But I am intrigued though. At home last year, Miami hammered New England.
Killed them.
Brutal beat down. If the Dolphins win by 20 points this Sunday, and they look good doing it, defense bounces back, offense is humming, where would you put yourself in terms of thinking this team could be something.
That's
Like still fighting for a wild card spot in December.
It's a great question. It would definitely be better. I just don't know if that's even a possibility. Like I don't even register that in my brain as something that's possible. Given the level of incompetence that we saw in week 1, they looked poorly coached. They didn't look motivated. They weren't disciplined. They flat out got their ass kicked. And why should I believe that Sunday will be any different?
I completely agree. We're at the point to where the Dolphins coaching staff, the Dolphins depth, the players, they have to prove us wrong.
Correct. Exactly.
I spent a good portion of July and August defending the Dolphins when we saw people inside the Chat Sports offices say the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the NFL. People in NFL Network, NFL Live on ESPN all said the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the NFL. I spent the entire 6 weeks of training camp trying to find the reasons to believe in this team, and I was very optimistic. But when you have that bad of a performance in week 1, you need to basically say, okay, I was wrong. And
Absolutely.
And the Dolphins have to prove to me they had just the worst day of all time, and that is not an indication of who they are. So.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Tough, man. It's tough, man. Very bummed. 267 people watching. What do you think?
I was going to ask you.
What do you think?
I think we can keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling?
It does not matter to me.
Yeah, we don't need to whatsoever. Yeah, we'll keep it rolling. Oh, man. Just brutal. I'll mention this again before we get into our next segment here. And by the way, if any of you guys want to get on the show, we're not doing a scripted Q&A mailbag today. But if you guys want to get your thoughts, you guys want to vent, you want to bring up a different viewpoint on the Miami Dolphins, send in any super chat, have your thoughts in it, and we'll get you on screen and we could have a conversation. Like I said, we're not doing a mailbag, but if you want to get on the show and ask me questions, voice your opinions for everybody else in the chat, we got almost 300 people watching. That's the best way to do so. I'll also make mention, remember, for the entire month of September, we're doing a raffle for a Chop Robinson signed mini helmet. $5 gets you into the raffle. If you send in $10, that's 2 tickets. 5 is 1, 15 is 3, 20 is 4, so on and so out 4. And if anyone sends in $100 on a live stream, they get onto the Dolphins Today Aqua Club, where we immortalize you.
I mean, that's tough.
No Hall of Fame and Aqua members have been in the stream so far. There's only 3 of them. We're waiting for the stickers to get here, orange stickers, so I can put it on the back here. But the 3 Aqua Club members is Brian Aycock, Magic Dragon Wizard, and David Breakount. Will we have a 4th edition today? I do not know. This is pretty, though, man. Dolphins Today, Dolphins logo. It's pretty cool, man. This is better than what the team was last year, or yesterday, for sure. That's for sure. All right, let me take another sip of water, and then if no super chats come in right now, we'll get into the next segment here.
Sounds good to me. I'm seeing a lot of John Gruden talk in the chat today.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Guys, he wasn't good in Vegas before the scandal. The only reason why people would think about bringing in Gruden is because he's fun on social media, but that's all it is.
He can't coach football anymore.
That's all it is. Not hiring him, man. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Exactly. Just because he's entertaining, you won't be entertained by him when you're losing.
Yeah. Marsh not knowing what scoregami is,
Crazy.
That's a bad look.
It's not a good look for the kid.
Bad look. Bad look. I don't know how you watched NFL football over the last 5 years and not know what scoregami is.
But you know what the whole thing is? The guy hasn't tweeted.
Yeah, I know. Is he okay?
That's what people are wondering.
Because 41-40 was, I assume that's scoregami, right? Yeah.
He has not tweeted.
Man Max says, who could we hire? I put it on Twitter today. Now, Coop disagreed with me, right?
About?
Cliff?
Yeah, you can't do it.
I said Cliff Kingsbury was an interesting idea.
He is McDaniel reincarnated.
He's better than Mike McDaniel.
They're offensive guys. They care about being cool versus actually winning ball games.
Maybe that was a bad idea.
I don't know if Cliff is a motivator of men.
Okay, fair. Maybe that's the issue. But like you mentioned Mike McCarthy, he's not someone who moves me.
Oh, but the guys play for McCarthy, though.
But he never wins anything.
He's a Super Bowl champ.
In 2009.
He's a Super Bowl champ.
Or was it 2010?
2010 season.
2010, yeah.
I'm not saying he's the best option by any means. You could do a lot worse than him.
But I just think, and here's my thing. If I'm already thinking about hiring a next coach.
Now, I like this name. Marcelo Sanchez in the chat. Shout out.
But my thing is, I would want to lean towards not a first-time head coach. Unless it's like a slam dunk type of guy.
Would you consider college coaches first-time head coaches?
Yes. Because if they have not done it at the NFL level, yes. Because it's different.
Man, I think Dan Lanning would be a good coach for the Miami Dolphins.
Like Greater Good says, Robert Saleh from San Francisco. Like, I gotta be honest, there's worse ideas out there.
It was just so bad with the Jets.
But that, to me,
and I know that organization's a shame.
I gotta be honest. If we're just gonna be real here for a second, I feel like the issues for the Jets more lied with the team construction from the GM.
Maybe so.
More than his coaching.
Maybe so.
Like, and as soon as, like, the beginning of the end for the Jets was getting Aaron Rodgers.
No, absolutely.
Because you paid him all that money.
Snaps his Achilles after 4 snaps.
I mean, doesn't play his first year. Second year wasn't good. You didn't have a good offensive line. Like, it was just, they were putting Band-Aids on artery cuts. No doubt. So, like, Salah, I don't think would be terrible. I saw someone say Todd Monken. Don't love it.
Get looks.
Don't love it. I know people said Joe Brady, Bills OC. Not sold on that. Definitely not that. Like, I'm just not in on a first-year head coach. I want to go with experience for this next time around.
Oh, baby.
Okay. I want to go for experience. That's just me, though. That's just me.
What about Riverboat Ron?
See, I would be intrigued with that.
I'm telling you, that would intrigue me. But if you're going that route, why would you not consider Mike McCarthy?
I think that's a good point. It's a good point.
I think both of them you could have worse options.
Yeah, there's worse. There's worse. I'm a little skeptical. Just I am. Sorry.
No, that's fair. I mean, it didn't end well in Dallas.
There's going to be more people that, like, matriculate in the head coach cycle. Like, because we didn't really know about Ben Johnson until his, like, first year on this blowing up on the scene with the Lions. So we'll see. I got to be honest. You want a sneaky name? It would be a first-year head coach, but I'll say it. Jesse Minter.
No way.
Why you say that?
You're going to put Jesse Minter on there after 2 years as DC of the Chargers? Won a national title at Michigan.
Right under Jim Harbaugh.
You do like cheaters.
Okay, relax.
He is one of them.
Right under Jim Harbaugh. Now with Jim in LA. Defense looked good against the Chiefs in week 1. It's just a name to monitor. I'm not saying that's a guy. I'm just saying that's someone that I would be intrigued with.
Okay.
So I'd be intrigued with. Listen, more names will matriculate out if the.
Love that word.
Yeah, thank you.
That's one of my favorites.
Matriculate. Every time I say it, I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Matriculate.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh! Building fins up! Bang! $100 super chat. Shout out to my guy.
The Aqua Club.
Aqua Club, the 4th Aqua Club member of the year. Might as well, fellas. Love the show. Love you guys. Just promise me you guys will never get too high or too low. the overreactions can be overly discouraging, and I'd love to see more finding solutions than just finding problems. All love. Listen, I appreciate that, building fins up. You're a legend.
What a beast.
I will say this. When it comes to the overreactions and me being very pessimistic over the last 24 hours with how the Dolphins looked, it's like almost like a two-part cycle, building fins up, in my opinion. It goes from like, one, to find the solutions, you have to find the problems first. And that's kind of where we're going with this.
Identify the problems and attack it.
Correct. Like, yeah, right now, we are in the finding problems phase of what went wrong, because you can't have solutions to non-existing problems.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So, like, we're finding the problems. I'm relaying the problems with the Dolphins, at least in my opinion, in my mind, and then we will start to find solutions, hopefully. So that is kind of where we're going in terms of why we're so negative right now. It's because you have to be negative to find the problems with the team, the coaching, the quarterback play, in order to find the solutions. So if you could stick with us in this phase, you'll be with us when we are giving our ideas and thoughts on how the Dolphins could improve and get better from where they are right now.
Absolutely. I couldn't put it better. Like, at first, we just can't, you said it at the beginning of the show, you just can't act like week one just didn't happen. We have to address it. We have to analyze it. We have to figure out how we can learn from it. And that's kind of the phase that we're in right now. Now talk to us 48 hours from now on Wednesday. We'll be in a different phase. And hopefully we'll have some optimism back about the game against the New England Patriots, which is a very, very important game for this ball club.
Boy, is it. Boy, is it an important game.
So I kind of think that's where we're at as a fan base at the moment, is identifying the issues, trying to sort through them out. And I think that's where Mike McDaniel is as well, because, like, I mean, imagine how we're feeling. He got punched in the mouth more than anybody. At least I would hope. I would hope it was.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike McDaniel doesn't feel bad about it, then we have an even larger issue.
Then we're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, that is, like, as bad as it would get.
I mean, if he doesn't, he might as well resign.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. $5 super chat from to James. Appreciate you. Fun question to gauge raw team strength. If we cut every player on the roster, how many would be a starter on a top 10 team? Okay. Interesting. Let's go through starters on a top 10 team. Well, I also will have, it's hard to say this because if you cut every single player in the NFL and then, like, built teams to, like, the top 10, like, it's also subjective because every team is going to have a weakness.
I think,
let's just, like, go.
Let's reframe it and let's say, how many of players on the Dolphins roster will be starters on a playoff team?
Okay. Well, you have two at wide receiver.
Yep.
Jaelan Waddle and Tyreek Hill. As annoying as Tyreek Hill is, he is a top 2 wide receiver on a playoff team, and so is Jaelan Waddle.
I think the running back.
Devon Achane is absolutely a starting running back on a playoff team. But that's it on offense. It's just those three.
Alec Ingold.
If you have a fullback, but not every team has a fullback, so I'm almost going away from that position.
Nobody on the O-line.
I actually disagree. I think Aaron Brewer I would classify as a starting.
Okay.
Aaron Brewer was a top 10 center in football last year. I really think Aaron Brewer is good, so I'll go 4 on
Patrick
offense.
Paul on his way there.
Certainly not yet. You can't confidently say that yet after one full start as the designated starter. So I'm going Waddle, Achane, Hill, Aaron Brewer on the offense.
Let's flip it.
On the defense, Zach Sealer, absolutely. I'm just sticking on the defensive line.
Like, we're talking about the pass rushers?
Before the year started, I would have said Chop.
Yeah.
His week 1 performance was so bad. I gotta see. I gotta see something before I can say that.
I think Jaelan Phillips and Bradley Chubb, maybe.
But they haven't. I mean, that was their first game played, and for so long, it's hard for me to say that too.
Right. And nobody in the secondary. Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka's a starting safety on a top 10 team, and then Jordan Brooks is as well.
Yeah.
So I think 7 players. 7 players would be my answer to James. I'd go, and I'm saying confidently. You can make arguments for some players, but if you're asking me how many do I confidently believe would be a starter on a top 10 team, I'm going Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jordan Brooks, Zach Sealer, Tyreek Hill, Jaelan Waddle, Devon Achane, Aaron Brewer. Those are my 7. My 7.
There you go.
A lot of the players not mentioned are quality or high quality starters on the Dolphins, but like if you're saying top 10 team, but like here's the thing as well, like the Bills are a top 10 team in football, right?
No doubt.
Without a question. They're top 5. Yet half the players on their team stink. So like that is the hard part to answer that question. It's because I'll say this right now, Coop. You swap Josh Allen and Tua.
Oh my God.
The Dolphins are
winning the Super Bowl.
A top 3 team in the AFC. Or excuse me, top 3 team in the AFC. So it's like the quarterback position matters so much that when you talk about top 10 team in football, the quarterback almost accounts for 65% of it.
I was gonna say the quarterback is 65% of the battle.
I have no problem admitting this. You take away coaching staffs and quarterback and just go pure talent on the roster, the Dolphins roster is better than the Bills.
It is.
Like,
it is.
They have a better wide receiver room. So the position groupings that I would give Buffalo is offensive line and tight end.
Unfortunately,
but the Dolphins have a better wide receiver room, better running back room, better defensive line. Both secondaries are atrocious. A slight edge to Buffalo. The point is the Bills don't have a good roster, but they have the best quarterback in football, so it changes things when he could put up 40 on a given night.
They have the most important one figured out.
Exactly. Oh, man. Oh, appreciate the 2 super chats. Like I said, building fins up. You are in the Aqua Club, the Hall of Fame. Appreciate the love and support. When we get the orange stickers in the building, baby, we'll have the stickers line up on the back. We got 4 now.
Let go.
This is a charcuterie serving board / cutting board that we're purposing for our Hall of Fame board. We're going to put everybody on the back, so maybe the front can still be used potentially for whoever wins it at the end of the year. But it also...
Baseball bat?
I mean, if you're just playing like a little bit of a fun like wiffle ball game, I bet this thing could do damage. You square that puppy up.
No doubt. Drive through it.
Turn the hips. All right, no super chats came in outside of those 2, so we'll get into the next aspect of our show, which is why this loss is 100 times worse than we originally thought. Time to get into that right now. So once again, this is probably the last part of the diagnosing the problems, finding solutions part of the offs or this week. So let's get right into it. The Miami Dolphins' embarrassing 33-8 loss to the Indianapolis Colts just got 100 times worse. And why did it get 100 times worse? It's because after reviewing the tape, the All-22, looking at some advanced statistics, the charting, it just is way worse than you could have imagined off first glance, and that's hard to do. So what makes it worse, you might ask? Well, the defense makes history in a bad way. The film on QB1, Tua Tagovailoa, is absolutely atrocious. It's abysmal. We'll go through all of it. And the cornerback issue that we knew was here going into the season is even more worse than we originally thought. But we'll start with the history that this Dolphins defense made in a bad way. ESPN research, the Colts scored all 7 of their drives in Week 1. They are the first team since 1977 to accomplish this feat. Now, you might ask, well, what about the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs against the Patriots? You would be correct from 2021. But this statistic is just in the regular season. So, the Colts are the first team since 1977 in the NFL regular season to score on every single possession. How does it get more embarrassing than this? You let Daniel Jones score on every possession he held the ball. And I know there might be a tiny asterisk on that statistic because the Dolphins did force a punt, but Matthew Judon ran into the punter, giving the Colts a free first down, and they went down the field and scored on that drive. I mean, it's just an all-time low. You can't say you hit rock bottom, but it's hard to envision the Dolphins putting up a worse defensive performance the rest of the season than this one, considering the quarterback they are going up against. If Josh Allen does that to you, okay. Daniel Jones? God, that's bad. But the more concerning part of it all is that the strength of this team was its defensive line. That's the part that I really circled. It's like, okay, the Dolphins defense is going to be solid this year because the pass rush should be top 5 in football and they should be able to dominate the line of scrimmage. Well, they got dominated by the Colts. Daniel Jones faced pressure 24% of the time. 24% pressure rate for the Dolphins defensive rush. That was the third lowest, which means Daniel Jones was the third best, let's just say he's the third most quarterback kept clean. Maybe said that backward, but you get my point. The Dolphins defense did not make Daniel Jones feel uncomfortable whatsoever. They had 1 sack. 1. And they did not generate a ton of pressure. It was a poor performance from the defense. Every single player on it. All right, we're going to get over to Tua here in a second, but YouTube just rolled out this new feature that I kind of want to show. Also, funny comment there. But it's this little thing right here called Hype. Now, you'll see it if you're on your phone or desktop. When you go down, you can scroll over and see that hype. If you click it, you can hype up this specific video, and it will rise the leaderboards on YouTube. So, new feature, I want to try it out. Can we get more hype? Click that button, hype up the video, hype up the channel, boost this out to more people, more Dolphins fans, so they can see our content and join the family. And we'll have more fun on a daily basis. Let's try it out. Why not? Let's have some fun. Help the channel grow. It'd be greatly appreciated. All right, let's move over to Tua Tagovailoa, who was absolutely incompetent, in the words of Dolphins Today. Me and Coop absolutely love it. I mean, the raw numbers against the Colts, I mean, they were hard to look at. There are 14-23, 114 yards, 3 turnovers, 2 INTs, 1 fumble. All 3 of them were on Tua, not protecting the football on the fumble, as well as throwing the ball right to defenders in those 2 interceptions. He had a bottom 1 QBR, and he had a 51.7 QB rating. And a lot of the times that Tua has struggled and the Dolphins offense has struggled over the last couple of years, we have quickly pointed out, well, if he was protected better, the offensive line stunk. Well, folks, you can't blame the O-line. We talked about Daniel Jones' pressure rate only being 24%, which was tied for 3rd lowest. You want to know who had the 2nd lowest pressure rate in this game? Oh, yeah, Tua Tagovailoa. He was only pressured on 22.2% of his dropbacks. Going into Monday Night Football, of when this video is being filmed, that was the 2nd lowest. So it's not like the Dolphins' offensive line was just consistently getting beat by this Colts pass rush. It was not the case. Tua did not see a lot of pressure. And for him to be that inaccurate, turn the ball over that often, and the offensive numbers to be so bad when the offense gave him time to throw the football, that is a large concern. It is. And we're being very negative on this episode, but I do want to shed one bright spot from week 1, and it's the fact that Patrick Paul was awesome. According to Pro Football Focus, can't take everything, got to look at the film, got to take everything in terms of how it looked as well, but graded out in the 80s, no pressures allowed. I tweeted it out on Monday morning. The one silver lining from this game is that I just feel more and more confident you have your franchise left tackle. He played extremely well in the preseason, in the training camp, against other teams in joint practices, against his own team. So I feel that Patrick Paul was a hit in the 2nd round for Chris Grier in 2024. So I wanted to shed some light on him because we're being very negative today, but I want to show him some love because he was awesome in week 1. All right, back to Tua now, and why this is so more concerning. Look at the difference, because he had 27 dropbacks against the Colts. He was kept clean in 21 of them, and he was under pressure 6 of them. So that's where that 22.2% pressure rate comes in for him here. And on the 6 dropbacks that Tua was under pressure, he was 0 for 3 with a 33.3% turnover-worthy play percentage. What does that tell you? Well, in 6 dropbacks, that means he had 2 turnover-worthy plays in those 6 dropbacks. And the part that's even the most concerning is that his 2 interceptions weren't even under pressure. So not only was he terrible under pressure, as you see on the right side of your screen, but even when he was kept clean, he turned the ball over twice, put the ball in harm's way, and his average depth of target was 6.2 yards. Last year, this is why this is concerning, and you have to take it in terms of like the surrounding. My mind can't find the word right now. I don't know the word I'm looking for here. I'm thinking like I just can't do it. Sometimes you get a mental block, folks. That's what I have. You just have to take it for what it is, but he was not able to push the ball downfield. And last year, he had an ADOT of 4.5 yards. Circumstances. Thank you. Building fins up in the live chat if you're watching on our live show. Because he was last in the NFL in terms of ADOT last year. Like, he just doesn't push the ball downfield. He plays scared. He plays jittery. He can tell you in the media and in interviews all he wants that he likes to get hit. He likes to be physical. But that's not what the tape tells you. And we'll talk about what the tape showed here in just a second. But what is your concern level with QB1, Tua Tagovailoa? Scale 1 to 10 for me down in the comment section. Pin comment on today's show. I want to know your thoughts on QB1. My concern level, full 10. Full 10, man. Like, maybe I'm doing a full 180 right now. That's fine. Because I have defended Tua for the most part over the past couple of years, talking about need an O-line if he just stays healthy. But he's fully healthy in this game. I thought the O-line played better than what maybe people are giving it credit for, and he was still horrific. And here are my concerns with Tua. I watched the entire game over again via the broadcast, condensed game, and then I watched the all-22 film on Monday morning. The number one thing that I came away from, and I just mentioned he plays scared. Watching him in the pocket, I got anxious. I did. Like, I was watching him, and I start shaking. Like, he is playing scared and panicky. He is. Like, the way that he goes through his progressions, the way that he is moving his feet, the way that he just gets rid of it, like, everything tells you, it's like, okay, there's something up here. It's mental. It's mental. And there are physical limitations to Tua as well. But when I watched him on the film, like, it just was bad. And it's scary. It's not good. It just is not. And he took a brutal quote from the former Dolphin, his former teammate, Xavier Howard, who on Monday, talking to Colts reporters, said that, hey, we know he gets the ball out pretty quick. And once we take away his first read, I feel like it's panic mode after that. And it showed yesterday. I mean, that is just a bomb dropped by Xavier Howard on Tua. But the truth is, he's not wrong. And that's number 2 on my concerns with Tua. He's got happy feet in the pocket. Like, this is the type of stuff that I would expect from a rookie in terms of his inability to feel confident and stand in the pocket and deliver strikes. Like, there was one play, and this one is the one that I can't shake my head. So he's in the gun, and I'll verbally mention this. Tyreek Hill goes in motion, goes on a quick out route. That was the first read. Takes the snap. First read, Tyreek Hill. Could have thrown it. Probably picks up 5 yards on 1st and 10 at best. Decided not to throw it. Comes back to his second read, which is Jaelan Waddle from the outside on an in-breaking hitch route. Perfectly covered, no separation. Can't throw it there. So, quickly moves to his third read, which was Alec Ingold coming out of the backfield on an in-breaker 10 yards down the field. And what happens is that he's bouncing around in the pocket, freaking looking twitchy and scared, panicky is the word, and he ultimately throws it with a man coming up in his face. When you watch the film, though, and this is just elementary stuff here, The guy's coming up through the right guard, and sure, he felt the pressure. He throws the ball. But guess what you can do, Tua? You can just move a couple steps to the left, set your feet again, and if you do that, you would have found Julian Hill 10 yards downfield with no one within 5 yards around him. Easy completion, first down. Instead, he was panicky. He had a happy feet. He felt the pressure and threw the ball over the middle of the field, anticipating Alec Ingold coming over the middle of the field. But everybody in the world saw that coming, jumped on it, should have been intercepted, was not. Like the panicky, happy feet kind of tape and film I saw from Tua, it's the exact opposite that you want to see from a QB, especially your QB1 playing in, what is this? When he get drafted, 2020, 6 years? It's not good, man. Not good. In the third year, can't throw left. He can't do it. And I kind of mentioned it, that I don't know what it is, but I just talked about that play that I described verbally here. If he moved to his left in the pocket, which wouldn't have been a crazy thing to do, it would have been very easy to do, and look left, had a man, Julian Hill, wide open, about 11 yards downfield. Well, look at his passing chart from week 1. He threw the ball left of the hashes 3 times. One of them was a check down screen, I believe, to Malik Washington. One of them was a solid strike to Tyreek Hill down the field. And the other one was about 14 yards down the field. But, I mean, that was basically in the middle of the field as well. It's basically right in between it's right on the hashes. Like, so not only does he feel panicky, he plays scared, has no confidence, but he's almost alienating an entire side of the football field. So if you're the Colts defense and you're looking at that and you're peeping this and picking up on it throughout the entire game, why would you pay attention to that side of the field if he's not even looking over there? I mean, going into Monday Night Football, Tua is 28th in success percent, 30th in EPA per play, 30th in passer rating, and 31st in interception to attempt ratio, 8.7%. So you ask yourself, well, if it's that bad, why isn't he 32? Well, remember, 2 quarterbacks didn't play yet when we're filming this video. So 30th, and I don't know how that's possible to be 31st. That's worse. That's the worst in football. He was the worst quarterback in the NFL in week 1, at least as of filming this before Monday Night Football. So, like, that's where we're at. We're dealing with the worst quarterback play in the 2025 season at this point. More coming up here. I know it's a long video. I appreciate y'all sticking around with me here. But we are sponsored and brought to you by Prize Picks. And with the right decisions on Prize Picks, you can get paid, and it's good to be right on Prize Picks. It's so easy and simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks also invent the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. My picks did not hit in week 1 between Colts and Dolphins, so I've turned the page to week 2. More than Terry McLaurin, half a touchdown. I think he reaches pay dirt against the Packers on Thursday Night Football. And then I also am taking the discounted stat projection for Travis Kelce, more than half a passing yard. Take advantage of that and put it in your lineups this week. But if you did not get started, well, download the app today and just make sure you use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Before we transition the topic from Tua to the CB room, and I know it's going to be a super long video, I am sorry. I apologize already. Miami consistently gets the play in late, and this could be put on Mike McDaniel a lot. But when this happens, it just doesn't allow Tua to make the right adjustments, whether it is checking into a different play, whether it is setting the offensive line in a right spot to where they are shifting towards where the pressure is coming from. They ID the mic, where the hots are. Well, when the play comes in late, you have all of these different motions before the snap. It just gives you very small windows of success. And this just goes back into the conversation that Mike McDaniel and Tua, it just can't have. These guys I don't think can work together much longer. I don't think they can. They got to go. I'm done with it. All right, let's move over to the secondary now, and we briefly mentioned it earlier, but secondary was even more brutal on a rewatch. You saw 4 corners play football on Sunday. Storm Duck, Jack Jones, Rasul Douglas, and Jason Marshall Jr. All 4 of them struggled immensely. Storm Duck was the worst out of all of them. A perfect QB rating when targeted. 158.3. My goodness. Jack Jones was, I guess, the best. 60% completion percentage allowed. 48 yards, best QB rating, but 92.1 ain't good. And you saw Rasul Douglas fill in for Storm Duck after he left with an ankle injury. Obviously, Storm Duck is going to be out for a couple weeks with that ankle injury. And Jason Marshall Jr., the rookie, wasn't very good playing some snaps in the nickel either. 2 for 2, 20 yards, 108.3 QB rating. But I kind of want to focus on Storm Duck here because, yes, he's going to be out for the next couple weeks, but this man coming into the year in this game was labeled as your CB1. I said that's a major issue. Most of you said that's a major issue. I mean, the numbers are just abysmal. And by matchup, Cook. Gave up a touchdown, 72 yards. He did not look like an NFL cornerback. There was a reason why he was a UDFA during the 2024 NFL Draft. And it was shown today, or on Sunday. I mean, if he didn't get hurt, I would be probably calling for him to be benched. Gotta be honest. If you want 100% free Dolphins coverage, this is the channel for you. We have a lot of fun here. And I know it's not fun sometimes to root for the Dolphins, but we try to make it more fun. We have 2 videos a day, live 3 times a week, day after games, Thursdays, and game days. Subscribe and join the Dolphins family today. Well, we also have another issue that makes this loss worse. The secondary couldn't cover. Oh, they couldn't tackle either. What was the biggest issue for the defense last season? There was 3 major issues for Miami, and a defense that actually graded out as a top half defense in football last year. Number 1 issue, they couldn't generate pressure. They were 27th in sacks. Number 2, they couldn't take the ball away. They were 27th in takeaways. Number 3, they were a terrible tackling team. And they missed 9 tackles again in week 1. With 7 of the 9 missed tackles coming from the secondary. Jason Marshall Jr. missed 2 tackles. Minkah Fitzpatrick missed 2 tackles. Melifanu and Davis missed a tackle. Jack Jones missed a tackle. Tyrell Dodson missed 2. He was the only player not in the secondary to miss a tackle. And the issue that the Dolphins had was the fact that they just over-pursued too often. I just don't know if it was assignments being blown, miscommunication, over-excitement. But, I mean, the amount of times that they overcommitted and the Colts Barrett ball carrier was either just able to stop for a brief second and let the Dolphins defender use their momentum to go forward, and then they are just able to run forward, or just a simple cutback inside. The point is, like, the play that stands out the most is there's a check down to Jonathan Taylor. I think it was 2nd and 10 in the second quarter. Taylor catches it at the line of scrimmage after Daniel Jones went through about 4 progressions, more evidence that the pass rush couldn't get home, and then just throws it to Jonathan Taylor, just waiting for the ball. And what happens? Jason Marshall Jr. runs to the sideline. Tyrell Dodson runs to the sideline. They don't keep contained on Jonathan Taylor. He just stops, cuts back inside, and picks up 16 yards. I mean, you have 2 players running to the football. That's a good thing. But you got to go under control. If you're Jason Marshall Jr., you did the right thing. And so, like, talking through myself here, this is on Tyrell Dodson, but it's just more evidence of the issue. Marshall Jr. made sure Taylor couldn't get to the outside. He forced Taylor inside. But why is Dodson overcommitting? You got to be ready for Taylor to move inside and make the tackle. It's just frustrating all the way around. But going back to the secondary real quick. I'm not going to act like he's going to be a savior, but I think it might be time to see what Juju Browns can do. It's a former second-round pick out of Kansas State from the 2023 draft who was cut by the Colts on roster cutdown day, and the Dolphins claimed him. They clearly saw a reason to bring him into the building. 6'3", 205, physical, agile, explosive. Like, if Jack Jones and Douglas struggle this week in week 2, Jason Marshall Jr. struggles in week 2. It's likely time to see what Juju Brents can do. Not going to act like he's the savior. But, hey, guys have a lot of interesting things going for him, so I'm intrigued. All right, I'll do it. I am sorry for this one. I don't know how long this video is. I'm going to guess it might be 23, 25 minutes. But if you want more Dolphins coverage, follow me at Nick_Roloff. We're on the road to 3,000 followers. We're talking more Dolphins football over there every single day in between games and in videos, so I hopefully see you there. That was a long one.
You had a lot to say.
I just got, I got agitated.
It happens. Look, the performance from the Miami Dolphins was so bad. What are you going to say? Yeah, it's about 22 minutes.
22?
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
I don't know. It was a great video.
I hope I was able to get through my thoughts the way that I wanted to.
And you know what? After this, we're on to New England.
On to New England.
A big game in week 2.
It's a loser-leaves time game.
It is.
I think both teams' seasons are on the line. If you're the New England Patriots, a team that was I wouldn't say they're the media darlings of the year, but they were certainly a trendy playoff pick this year because of second-year quarterback Drake May, Mike Vrabel. They sign all those players at free agency like Harold Landry, Carlton Davis, Milton Williams. They dress the offensive line with Will Campbell. And then you lose at home to the Raiders, a game that you were 2-point favorites in. I think most people would have expected the Patriots to start the year 1-1 in the games against the Raiders and Dolphins. So if they start 0-2, they're in a dangerous spot. So I'll say this right now: if you don't think that Mike Vrabel is going to have the New England Patriots playing with their hair on fire and playing with a physicality and aggressiveness,
you got another thing.
Coming. So the Dolphins better be ready to play on Sunday, and that's why I think this is such a big game. Because if the Patriots come into your building and are the aggressor, the team playing with more to lose, they need this game more, it just goes back to the inability of Mike McDaniel to lead, to have his team ready, and the incompetence that he displays on a weekly basis.
If the Patriots are the aggressor in this game, he has to go.
That's my point. That's why
has to go.
When you look at the circumstances, the surrounding, I still can't find that word. I don't think it's circumstances.
Factors.
When you look around,
the factors.
Is it factors?
Yeah.
So, I think I'm thinking of a different word here. So when you're looking at a box score,
yep,
but that doesn't paint the full picture. What's the word that you need around it?
Indicators.
Indicators. No.
Use it in a sentence.
The box score on Devon Achan's numbers were really bad, but it doesn't paint the full picture. What's the word that
underlying?
Maybe there is no word, and I just think there's a word in my mind that doesn't exist.
The numbers on Devon Achan's box score aren't as bad as made out to be, basically, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a word for that. Intangibles? That's not bad building fins up, but that's not what we're looking for there. We're not word guys.
I am certainly not. Certainly not. Full picture might be the best way to do it. I may say it, but I just feel like there's a word that I'm missing. Well, I don't know. It's driving me nuts if you guys couldn't tell.
Google? Grok?
No, I don't think it's Grok. I don't think it's a Grok thing. Don't need to do that. Greater Good says, I wish we had hired Vrabel. I said that, by the way.
Yeah, but he was always a Patriot.
Yeah, he had a handshake deal with the Patriots that if they fired Mayo, he'd become their coach. I mean, that became abundantly clear. But I said it in December. I was like, I'll fire Mike McDaniel right now to hire Mike Vrabel.
I mean, yeah. Stephen Ross should have listened to you.
Yeah. I would have this team in a way better spot than what the Dolphins' current ownership group does.
No question.
All right. We still have 200 people watching on this Overreaction Monday. We'll stay live if anybody wants to super chat. If not, maybe we'll sign off. What if we played that thing now? No, doesn't make sense.
To end it?
Yeah, but then we'd have to come back on live and then end it. Could
necessarily.
you
Wait,
start so we could you could make the cut during that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just say we're signing off now and then play the cut. We'll have the end screen on that anyways.
Yeah, it works too. Makes sense too. All right, so if no super chats come in the next minute and a half, what we're going to do is I think we're going to stay alive for a little bit and go through our overreaction Monday morning video for people that might have missed it this morning, and then sign off after that. If no super chats come in the next minute, asking questions, keeping us live.
Sounds good to me.
So it's up to the Dolphins fans. We've been here since 7:30. It's an early day for Coop and I as we wanted to get a lot of content out for you guys the day after the game. And then, yeah. I couldn't be more out on John Gruden as head coach.
No, I couldn't do it either.
Couldn't be more out. Saw some people ask about Dan Marino as GM. Dan Marino has no experience as any.
He doesn't want to do that either.
He probably doesn't want to do it. And he also has no experience in an NFL front office. So it's like, why would we want that anyway? You're just relying on nostalgia at that point. All right, Coop. I guess tee that bad boy up. No super chats come in. What's going to happen right now, we're going to put on our overreaction Monday morning video. Let that play. About a 20-minute video. If super chats come in during or we'll come back live, no super chats come out, that will be the end of the stream. So if no super chats come in, we'll see you live on Thursday, but videos going out every day in between then. So appreciate everybody. Here is our overreaction Monday video this morning, in case you missed it. It's time for NFL Week 1 Overreaction Monday for the Miami Dolphins. I'm Nick Roloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. It was really just an embarrassing effort for Miami from start to finish in their 33-8 loss against the Colts in Week 1. And here primarily on the head coach, GM, and quarterback. And we'll start there with Overreaction Monday. Fire Mike McDaniel. I have been saying it. A lot of people on Dolphins Twitter have been saying it, as well as the people inside our comment section. Well, remember, 1 fin on here is not really happening. 4 fins is it absolutely should be happening. I'm giving it 4 fins. This is something that should have been done about, September, so 8 months ago in January. And if anyone has seen The Dark Knight, my favorite movie of all time, you'll understand this little picture here. Enough with the clown. That's how I feel with Mike McDaniel. I no longer want to see this loser on the sidelines for the Miami Dolphins. And when I say loser, I really mean loser. He is not right for this job. He is not an NFL head coach. Could he be a very solid and very good, maybe, offensive coordinator still in the National Football League? Yes. Some people are just built to be OCs. Some people are built to be head coaches. I always use Josh McDaniels for an example. He got a head coaching job with the Raiders and the Broncos. Both went horribly wrong, but he's been one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL over the last 15 years across different organizations. The truth is, McDaniel cannot be the face of a franchise as its head coach. It cannot lead a franchise. It cannot lead a locker room. I have more on the matter here, but McDaniel, the evidence is clear. He can't be a head coach in the NFL, specifically for the Miami Dolphins. And let me know, make the call. Are you with me? I think a lot of you are, but I want to check in with everybody since we got to sleep on it. Should the Dolphins fire Mike McDaniel? Type F for fire, type K for Keith. Little jump scare from a year ago, last December. You see yours truly here. Well, look at this video. Can you see the title? Oh, the Miami Dolphins need to fire Mike McDaniel after the 2024 season. Oh, pictured, by the way, it was December 16th, 2024, and this came, I believe, right after they lost that game against the Houston Texans on the road where it was an absolute disaster. I have been on the fire Mike McDaniel train for a while. I said it in January. I don't know why the Dolphins are bringing him back, and I was very upset when Stephen Ross put out that stupid freaking press release that Grier and McDaniel would be returning because he values consistency and he values that those two have a good working relationship. I don't give a shit. You ain't going to win football games with those two in charge. And there's 4 main reasons why I think you need to fire Mike McDaniel. And like I mentioned, yes, this is Overreaction Monday, but I do not believe this is something that I just came up with over the last 24 hours. I have believed this for a long time and just was only reaffirmed after the abysmal Week 1 performance. But number 1 reason to fire Mike McDaniel is his consistent lack of leadership. He is not a leader of men. He does not fire you up to go play for you. And there is consistent mistakes on film all the time, whether it be offense, defense, special teams. I don't know if you want to put it all on McDaniel. It's his coaching staff, so you got to put most of the blame on him. It is just bad from top to bottom when it comes to the coaches, the players, and they tried to change the culture and locker room this offseason, and maybe that takes time. Definitely does. But Mike McDaniel should not be the one trying to reshape the culture and locker room. Number 2 is that he's got horrible game management. It's gone bad to his play calling over the past couple years, and we can lump 2 and 3 here together because he is a bad play caller. And when I'm talking game management, I'm talking not throwing the challenge flags when he should and throwing the challenge flags when he shouldn't. He has one of the worst challenge flag success rates in the National Football League. And he had a bad moment, although it didn't matter in the outcome of the game, where he didn't challenge a Tyreek Hill clear 26-yard catch in the fourth quarter. He was bailed out because the next play, Devon Achane rattled off a 26-yard run to the same exact spot. But he has no feel. And I'm sick and tired of this cheat motion shit, if I'm going to be honest. It was very good in 2022 and 2023. Why? Because the league has never seen it before. He surprised everybody. But now that the league has caught up to Mike McDaniel and those type of play calling, he has not been able to adjust. And too many times we see these motions and Tua changing the plays and nobody's ready to go, nobody's set. And guess what? There's 3 seconds on the play clock, and Tua hasn't even had a chance to really pay attention to what the defense is doing on the front. He hasn't had the ability to really alert and change the offensive protection along the line. You watch other QBs. Yes, there's motion, but he is checking into that motion, and he is reading the defensive line before that. What is happening for Miami is that there's motion, Tua tries to change the play, and then there's not enough time to get everybody set, ready to roll. It's just on Tua, it's on McDaniel, but I am sick and tired of his play calling and this offensive scheme. And number 4 is really just everything. It's incompetence. And I said it yesterday on a video, and producer Coop is with me all the way. The one thing I can't stand the most, not in football, but in life, is incompetence. It makes no sense. That's what Mike McDaniel is. He makes no sense. He has no clue what he's doing. He is incompetent. I'm sick and tired of hearing his quirky jokes at the press conference. You can make those jokes when you're going 11-6 and 12-5 every year and winning playoff games. Oh, you can't do that when you're going 8-9 last year, collapsing in 2022, collapsing in 2023, and putting up stinkers like you did in NFL Week 1. It's a joke. And when you have one of your all-time franchise GOATs saying after the game, unprepared, uninspired, unacceptable. My main man Larry telling the goddamn truth. Those 3 words, this tweet is exactly how all of Dolphins Twitter and the fans are feeling. It's terrible. You're getting clowned on Twitter. Specifically, Mike McDaniel, Dan Orlovsky, tweet this right after the game. The Dolphins tape is a mess, both sides of the ball, total mess. And this is just one of probably about 15, 20 NFL analysts that were calling for Mike McDaniel to get fired and mentioning how bad the Dolphins looked. I kind of went back at some of the NFL media members and analysts this offseason, cutting the Dolphins some slack. I wish I didn't do that. I was wrong. I tried to be a little bit of an optimist coming into this year. It's hard not to be optimistic heading into a new season. But this was bad, man. And I'll be honest, Week 2 coming up here at home against the division rival New England Patriots, who did not look good at home against the Raiders this past Sunday either. If you lose at home to the Patriots, I do not know how you don't pull the plug. He wins, he might save his job for a little bit. But if they lose and start 0-2 with an embarrassing performance against the Colts and then an embarrassing loss at home against the Patriots, get his ass out of here. And we'll be here for the entire thing, so hit that sub button on the road to 74K subscribers. Appreciate everybody who just joined the channel and helped us cross 73K yesterday. We're 566 away from 74K. Let's get there ASAP. Second overreaction on Overreaction Monday. Tua Tagovailoa, is he cooked? I gave 4 fins for fire Mike McDaniel. I'm giving 4 fins for Tua. I'm very low on McDaniel right now, if you can't tell. I might somehow be lower on Tua. And this is coming from someone who I think is, if you had to go right down the line of defending Tua to not defending Tua, I would be on the side of defending Tua. I think he gets overly disrespected because of the success he has had in the past. But based off last season and based off what we saw in the preseason in Week 1, I can't really defend this guy anymore. It was bad. And when the All-22 comes out over the next 24 hours, I'll be even more excited to watch that and dive into it. But based off watching the game over again on the condensed replay and watching it live and seeing some clips on Twitter, I mean, I just don't know how you don't think this is the worst game I've ever seen. I mean, 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. All of them are on Tua, by the way. You can't blame anybody else for those turnovers. Bad throws, inaccurate throws and decisions. And then on the fumble, he's getting collapsed in the pocket and he's holding the ball out like a loaf of bread. I mean, the QB rating was 51.7. His QBR was, I believe, 1.7 or 2.1, which was the worst in football this week. It is, simply put, the worst performance I've ever seen from Tua in his career. I mean, there are some bad ones out there. Obviously, the game on Thursday Night Football last year against the Bills, the game against the Texans last year, it just is bad all the way around. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. It's ugly. And Omar Kelly, who I would also put on maybe as far on the defend Tua train as you can possibly have, kind of got after Tua in the post-game press conference, mentioning and asking why does he believe that his turnovers come in bunches. And Tua snapped on him a little bit, saying, oh, I don't think they do. But Tua, you have no ground to stand on. But Omar Kelly with the note that this was the 7th time Tua has competed at least 3 turnovers in a game since 2020. The only quarterback to do it more times is Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, this is the 2nd time in his last 3 games where he has thrown multiple interceptions in a game. Dating back to last season, final 2 games he played that year against that Texans, against the 49ers, and then today or yesterday against the Colts. 2 interceptions against Texans, 2 interceptions against the Colts. He is not good. And we got more coming up on Tua here in a second. But get started with Prize Picks. Listen, Tua, bad. Prize Picks, good. And if you make good decisions on Prize Picks, you can get paid where it's good to be right. We make decisions every day. Turn those good ones into some money. It's so simple. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. I did not win my Week 1 Prize Picks for the Dolphins Colts game. I'm already turning my head to this upcoming Week 2, where I'm going more than Terry McLaurin touchdowns on Thursday night, where the Commanders host the Packers. And then there's already a Prize Pick special for next Sunday, Super Bowl rematch, Chiefs, Eagles. Take advantage of more than half a yard on Travis Kelce. We'll be showing that this entire week. But join me on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This is the passing chart from Tua Tagovailoa in Week 1. And there's a lot that stands out to me personally. Let's start with number 1. Well, anytime he tries to throw the ball downfield, it goes horribly bad. I have 3 throws 20 yards downfield past the line of scrimmage charted. 1 of 3 with an interception. I have about, 6 throws charted from 10 to 20 yards downfield, and he is 3 of 6 with an interception. Sure, he was efficient between the line of scrimmage and 10 yards downfield, but who isn't? And how about this? Look, can he not throw left? All of his throws are to the right side of the field. When he looks left, he can't throw left. Incomplete. Like, it's just bad. Like, and his 1 touchdown was 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a swing pass that was, by the way, 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line. He's lucky Devon Achane made a heck of a play to get in the end zone. Like, you just look at some of the advanced metrics coming out of Week 1. 28th in success percentage. 30th in EPA per play, 30th in passer rating, and 31st in interceptions to attempts ratio, 8.7%. I mean, are you kidding? Like, I go back to that passing chart. He couldn't throw left. Couldn't do it. Like, he completed 1 pass on the left side of the field. Everything else was in the middle and to the right. Like, that's a concern. And that has to do with footwork, has to do with mechanics, has to do with a lot of different things. Like, I can't wait for the All-22 to come out on, I think, Tuesday or night or Tuesday morning. Like, I'm going to get after it. And then here's the point I'll make as well, and this is why I can't really defend Tua anymore either. Did y'all watch Bills-Ravens Sunday Night Football? I mean, that was one of the best games I've seen in a long time. Like, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are the cream of the crop. 2 best quarterbacks in football. I don't really think there's a debate about that right now. But there's absolutely no world where Tua competes with any of those. You think Tua is going to be able to scramble around, make plays out of structure, dart the ball downfield, get in the end zone with his legs, extend plays? That is required to put up 40 points on those 2 teams? Absolutely not. So until the Dolphins have a quarterback that can go band for band with Josh Allen and Lamar, I mean, there's really no point in playing the games. And I know there's a Twitter member named Elite Marino that has that bit, but I'm not going to go full tilt that way because Tua does still do a lot of good things right most of the time, but I'm fully heading that way. Like, there's just no point if Tua's going to be your quarterback. I got to be honest. So be the GM. Is it time to cut bait with Tua? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Now, I'll be honest as well. It ain't going to happen. Like, it would cost $79.2 million in dead cap to cut Tua during the season, I believe, if I'm reading the contract details right, or at least after this season, going into 2026. So, just like Matt Miller mentions here, it is very unlikely that Miami would ever cut Tua. And for the people saying trade Tua, if you're trading Tua, you have to have someone be willing to trade with you. And I don't know who else is doing that. Maybe a team like the Saints would. I don't know. But I don't think it's likely. So the point is this when it comes to Tua. He is your quarterback for this season. You're likely not cutting Tua until after 2026, too, if we're going to be honest. Because do I believe Stephen Ross is going to pay $79 million as a dead cap for Tua? No. Now, there's only about $35 million in dead cap following 2026. So this season and then next season, where you cut Tua where he has 2 years left on his deal, only about $35 million in dead cap, and you save million against the cap, actually. I just don't feel as if Stephen Ross would be willing to cut Tua with all that dead cap. But hey, maybe he doesn't care. I can tell you one thing. He doesn't care about the Dolphins winning football games as long as Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel are still employed. All right, final overreaction here on this episode. We will be drafting number 1 overall. I think this one isn't going to happen. I'm going to only give it one fin. I just feel as if there are way worse situations and teams out there. And as bad as it was for Miami in week 1, I'm going to have a hard time believing they are going to end up being a worse team than the Cleveland Browns, the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, and Tennessee Titans. Which, by the way, those 4 teams that I just mentioned, the Dolphins play 3 or 4 of them. The only team they don't play is the Titans, who, by the way, beat you 2 times in a row on Monday Night Football over the past 2 seasons. You can make the argument that the Dolphins have actually had nothing go right for them since that Monday Night Football blown lead in the fourth quarter to the Will Levis Titans in 2023. Actually, pinpoint that. If you want to look at what's gone wrong with the Dolphins since Mike McDaniel got hired, that collapse on Monday Night Football is where everything started to go from, we're rolling here, baby, to, down here. Now, with this being said, I am going to I'm starting to monitor the 2026 draft class at the quarterback position. I am. I think you have to now. Based off what we saw from Tua in week 1, and it looks like Miami. Will they be picking number 1? No. Will they be picking top 10? Yes, they will be picking top 10. I'm going to that rate. Yes, teams can turn it around. It's just week 1. And we'll see. Maybe they blow the doors off of New England this Sunday, win 27-14, and maybe we'll have a different conversation next Monday. But as of right now, and what I saw on the condensed game and live, this team is terrible. And I'm already thinking about the next great quarterback that Miami might have to start developing. And the 5 that I'm keeping an eye on is Lenora Sellers from South Carolina, Garrett Nussmeier from LSU, Drew Aller from Penn State, John Mateer from Oklahoma, who is probably right now at this point the least highly touted quarterback on this list, and then Arch Manning. By the way, out on Arch Manning for this year. Could he still be an elite NFL draft prospect? Maybe. But it will not be this year. And I don't even think he comes out of the college anyway. But Mateer, Aller, Nussmeier, and Sellers are the 4 I'm keeping my eyes on. All 4 of them have elite traits. Sellers is a unbelievable athlete as well as has a cannon. But a lot of those same issues that you would see a quarterback like Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson has. You have to have the right people around him to develop, create the right habits, footwork, and reading defenses. Nussmeier is probably the most polished on this list. He's extremely accurate. He has great command of the LSU offense. He's a leader, but he doesn't have elite traits like some of these other guys. Aller's got an absolute nuke on his arm. Unbelievable. He's a little bit mobile, but very inaccurate, bad decision-making at time. Mateer, he's showing me some things, folks. He's got mobility. He's got a good arm. He's got good leadership ability based off what I've seen. Mateer, the former Wazoo, maybe could be something here. Hey, want to know who else was a former Washington State product that now is a number 1 overall pick? Mr. Cameron Ward. That would do it for this episode of Dolphins Today. We'll be live later today, but I'm also giving you my opinions over on Twitter. So give me a follow at Nick_Wolf right now, and I'll see you later on today's live.